Happy Friday, everybody. And I'm not even going to bother apologizing for not posting every week like I keep saying I'm going to. You know, these videos are for my own enjoyment, and if anybody else gets anything out of them, great. As you know, I don't put a lot of effort into editing them. I just do things off the cuff, and I talk about the things that I've been working on. Sometimes I talk about what's going on in the world. Going to try to stay away from that as much as I can today. It has been busy the last few weeks. I've been focused on a few things in my day gig, actually night gig. I work at Disneyland at night, and I've been learning how to run parades and things like that. So that's been a little bit extra for me. It's been a lot of fun, though. I really like it. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I love everything I do at Disneyland. Anyway, I've been busy focusing on that, but I've also been knitting pretty voraciously, hoping this cool weather in California is going to kick in. It's just now starting to get that nice crisp weather we should have gotten a month ago, but, you know, better late than never. I've got a lot to show you, so let's dig in. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cheryl. I've been knitting and sewing and doing all sorts of handcrafts my entire life, cooking as well. Some of those things I've turned into jobs or side gigs. I do it because I enjoy it. If I can make money from it, that's awesome. I found this book, Folk Fests, by Cheryl Oberle, online at a used book store. I think it was Thrift Books. Could have been Thrift Books. Anyway, I will link its information below. I got it because I saw a video, and I will also try to find that video and link that below so you can watch it, of a young knitter who was basically doing this. Now, for any of you that have been knitting for a while or are familiar with Great British knits, you are going to know that it's basically a pretty close copy of the Prince of Wales slipover. They call a sleeveless vest or sleeveless sweater like this a slipover. I saw it and I thought, wow, that is so cool. I'd really like to try that. Well, at the time, I didn't have the exact colors, and so instead of doing that one, I decided to do this one that's based on a Scottish design. And I had almost exactly the right colors. I did a few different things on it. So let me show you how it turned out. I like it, and I wanted to do more vests because living in California, it is warmer, and wearing wool, gosh, I'm telling you, when I went to London in January, I was in heaven because I was able to wear all of my wool sweaters. I did have a vest, though, and that really came in handy. I think I showed you that one other time. So this is how it turned out, and I'm pretty proud of it. I made a few changes. I didn't do exactly the color scheme on the armhole ribbing, here's the back, as I did, but I really like how it turned out. I like doing stranded knitting. I find it enjoyable. I am a thrower. I knit holding the needle with my left hand and throw over it, or some people do. My middle sister, who also knits, does it continental. She's got the yarn wrapped around her left finger and picks. She did most of her knitting when she was living in Austria, and that's where she really learned. And I've just been doing it since I was young and, you know, through. And I also do a modified Shetland technique. I don't have a Shetland knitting belt. It's a leather belt, and the pins or the needles that are pointing on both ends. One end sticks in that needle in the belt, and you're basically just managing one needle and the yarn. I do a modified version of that. I kind of tuck that long needle down into my hip, into like the crook of my jeans, and do that too. I love using circular needles, and I love knitting in the round. I just finished a sweater for my son. It was based on a 1940s pullover. He wanted it to be a V-neck, so I had to do some pattern adjustments, also do some adjustments for the kind of yarn that I use. I don't use DK or anything lighter than a worsted, just because don't like that real fine knitting. One of my sisters loves to knit socks, so anytime I get any sock yarn, I always send it to her because she's fine with that, but I don't really like that, and I don't like using giant needles either. I tend to go from 5s to 10s, but nothing bigger than that. Anyway, I finished a sweater for him out of some Patons Classic Worsted. Boy, I'll tell you, before Joann's went out of business, I bought everything I could. So I've got a lot of that type of yarn. I am going to make the Prince of Wales sweater, however, and I do have this. I use bags for everything. I either make my own bags or I get them. I did get the colors. It's all Patons worsted colors that I had. I managed to find a few, but then I also had to supplement with Wool of the Andes from Knit Picks, which is a really nice worsted weight. It's basically the same. It's not the same. It's not manufactured the same way, but it'll fit in nicely with that. So I will be making that vest. I'll probably start it sometime in November. I have a couple of things I need to get done first. Working on a project for someone. It's a surprise, so I hope they don't watch this video. It is a Lopa Pesa. This is some of the roving, Patons roving that I got. It is not the hobby yarn. It is Patons roving. This is a great color. So I'm doing the cuffs. It's kind of a modified heart or in the cuff. And then the yoke is going to be it may be a heart pattern like I've done before. I haven't decided yet, but that's what I'm working on. And so it's going to be this purple. Where is the purple? I have it in here somewhere. Where'd it go? I was going to do a couple different colors, but I think I'm just going to stick with purple and keep it simple because it's very subtle and it's nice. The other thing I'm working on is for me. Okay, I was at the Hands-On Knitting Center, which is up north of me. The ladies there are fantastic. I'm going to link their information below. And I got this fantastic Noro. It is Noro. I think it's the Hoka yarn. I think so. Yes. And I love this. It's so soft. The thing that's great about this is natural. This is not dyed. This is exactly what the little sheep look like. Aren't those fabulous colors? I love them. I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but I have since acquired a couple more of these browns. It's so soft, and it's soft because I don't scour it. These very gentle, natural soap, lukewarm water, just to get the dirt and stuff out. But it is so soft. It feels like, I mean, it's so soft like cotton or something. I love it. So I am using that, and then another type of Noro. This is the Noro Okunoshima. It is a similar yarn. It is wool. It's got some silk, mostly silk, some wool, angora, and mohair, which is really incredible. It's also very soft. It's a variegated. So I got some of this as well, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. So what I have decided to do, and I've already started, is use the variegated, and I'm making myself a Lopa Pesa cardigan. And so it's with the brown, and then the variegated, same design as that other Lopa Pesa I'm making, but with the variegated yarn. And look, doesn't that look really cool? Let me show you a little closer. Isn't that neat? I love how that turns out. It just naturally kind of stripes. So I'm going to put that design on the cuffs. And then the yoke, I will either use the heart pattern that I've used before, or I may play with it. I've got a couple of 10 stitch and 20 stitch pattern repeats that I could use. I'll decide when I get to it. And that's just how I do things. I start doing something, I have a plan, and sometimes I change mid-plan. But I did want to show you this bag. I'm using this as a project bag for the Lopa Pesa I'm working on for someone else. These are the bags that I make. Now this one I did not stamp with my logo on the outside because I didn't want to interrupt the fantastic color pattern. I saved this one for myself. But I know there is a grocery store out there where you can get bags like this, but they're not like this. This is better. It's a little, the handles are about 1.5 inches, 2 inches longer, so they're much more comfortable to fit over your shoulder. You have to be a Lilliputian to have one of those over your shoulder. And then this one, I actually put pockets on the inside. Usually I make it so it does have the pocket on the outside, and then I stamp my logo. But I'm saving this one for myself. This one I'm using as a project bag. It's perfect for putting my project in. And I can fit this whole sweater in here. And I can fit the notebook. I always have a notebook I use. I take notes on patterns because I make stuff up as I go along. You know, sometimes, like I said, I have a pattern, I have an idea, but then I make notes. And then if I want to repeat it and do it again, I go back to those notes. I can do it again. Oh, this is a photograph of flowers from the Bellevue Botanical Garden. I used to be a floral photographer, and I used to make bags. So I keep all of my doodads in here, all of my, you know, old Altoids tin for my stitch markers, my grafting needles, a crochet hook. This crochet hook happens to be over 50 years old. Yeah. Same with these scissors. These are super old. They're the kinds that fold up like that. And that, you know, who invents these things? Anyway, I love it. So I've had a lot of these things. My Pattern Works guide. Boy, if you've been knitting for a long time, you know what this is. Yeah, I cherish that. And they still make these, but I've had this for over 50 years. Things last. Keep things, you know, tools. That's what I had to share. Yeah, so I've made a vest. I'm working on a Lopa Pesa cardigan, a Lopa Pesa sweater. I finished a V-neck worsted weight sweater for my son. What's next after that? The Prince of Wales slipover. And then I will probably start to pump out some more Lopa Pesas as well. I've got a lot of yarn that I can go through, mostly dark colors, but I do have a set of light colored. I may make another fish sweater, which is based on the Yuha knitting design. And again, I will link those patterns and things below. Some of them you have to pay for, some of them are free. But one place I would like to encourage you to look for patterns is Hobby, Hobbi. It is a company in Denmark, and they produce and acquire great yarn, but they also have a lot of patterns, and many of them are free. Also, Istex, which is the producer of Lopi, which is a standard Icelandic wool. If you want to make an authentic Lopa Pesa, you do need to use Icelandic wool. I do not have any of that at this time, but I want to try to get some next year if I can. Istex also has patterns on their site. Many of them are free. I think they're all free, as a matter of fact. I don't know, I could tell if I look at it. I will put the link for that below as well. That's all I have for now. Tomorrow morning, I will be with a whole bunch of other people, like-minded people, making a statement about how we feel about our Constitution and how important that is. If you haven't gotten your pocket Constitution yet, I'm also going to link that down below. It's great to have that little pocket Constitution in hand. If you haven't read it in a long time, you might as well do it. Everybody needs to be informed. So have a great weekend. Be safe out there. If you're ever at Disneyland at night, look for me, either in Toontown or Galaxy's Edge. I love my job, and I love crafting. I love knitting, and I love sewing. If you want to see other things that I have available, you can go to my Mercari site. I will also link that below. It's a lot of links today. That's why it's going to take me a little bit to get this posted, because I got a lot of links to share with you. again, have an awesome weekend. Be safe out there and keep the good vibes coming for everyone around you. Focus on your local community. That's where you can make the most impact. See you later.